Time to record another Curtis review. Put an envelope here. Hello, birthday, boy crossed out girl. You have a special day coming up. Love, Longlegs. 666 is circled in this sequence of numbers. What could it mean? Alright, let's talk about Longlegs. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, all you birthday boys and girls out there. A like will take you pretty far as well. I should also say that this video will be heavily spoiler filled, so this is your warning to pause here, go watch Longlegs, and then come back and let me tell you how to feel about it. Now, let the birthday festivities begin. Longlegs is directed by Oz Perkins, starring Maika Monroe as main character and FBI agent Lee Harker. Also starring are Blair Underwood in an excellent foil to Harker's socially awkward nature, as well as Alicia Witt, Kiernan, Shipka, and Nicolas Cage. Agent Harker is a strange and disturbed woman on the hunt for a serial killer known only as Longlegs. The movie is parts cop procedural and parts supernatural, with some off-kilter humor thrown in to balance the palpable tension throughout. Overall, the movie hits its mark, but misses several things along the way that keep it from being the timeless classic that the overworked ad campaign led suspecting audiences to believe. It's good, maybe better than I'm giving it credit for, but it fails to land its many ideas, and thus fails at delivering a succinct and scary experience. First, let's address the scary. Longlegs is scary, but it's more creeping dread scary as opposed to scary scary. It's not Hereditary or Exorcist 3, though it does kind of aim to do what the latter does so well. Suspense is the name of the game here for Perkins & Co. and is a crowning achievement of the movie. Right up until the third act and eventual full reveal of Longlegs, the movie is gripping and will keep you on the edge of your seat. This was in part due to the excellent cinematography on display. Andres Orochi doesn't have a long list of credits, but after this, he probably will. Some of the best nighttime and dark sequences I've seen, and several of them stuck in my mind after the movie was over. Andres plays a large part of the tension of the movie, with many framing decisions crafting a sickening amount of tension scene to scene. One that sticks out is the sequence in Harker's cabin/home, where we see Longlegs creep in and leave her a note. This is also where the Silence of the Lambs comparison ends, because the relationship is not nearly as satisfying as Clarice Starling and Hannibal Lecter's. There's a letter left by a bowl of Cheerios. More on Cheerios later. And as she tears it open, the right half of the frame shows an empty doorway. No one's there, but everything has led you to believe that there could be someone waiting to invite her to their birthday party. The sound design and soundtrack work really well in its favor too. Long, pulsing drones add to an already overwhelming, synapse-exploding pace and tension. Elvis Perkins' composition, along with the sound team, deserves lauding, as do the T-Rex needle drops. The rock and roll quality of the movie adds a lightness that keeps it from being too much. It is a gorgeous movie. Every single frame felt meticulously crafted and just beautiful. Where it was lacking was the script and the plotting. Though the editing is sharp, the movie is too on the nose with explaining its lore. Like with classic monster movies and even something like The Thing, keeping The Thing a dog as long as possible adds to a movie's mystique. Not being able to fully see the thing and only getting glimpses of its horror is what makes it work. Here, the best moments for Longlegs are when we never can fully or clearly see the killer. We get angles from car seats, point of views of young women who are calling to their dad like, hey, that creepy guy's here again, as well as hearing his voice and seeing parts of his creepy lair. These are the best aspects of developing the character of Longlegs. Sure, Nicolas Cage brings a gravitas to the character, and the makeup and prosthetics are worth being lauded. And I also really dug the character's wardrobe. But watching you crush in your nose will never beat the heights of the movie's bleak, snowy white intro sequence. performance. Still, I love Nicolas Cage and he does pretty solid work here. I also think that maybe someone who was lesser known or less known as a meme may have done something a little more interesting here, but that's going to be up to the viewer ultimately how Cage and Longlegs works on screen, and this movie will very likely be a high schooler's boom tube introduction to other timeless horror and serial killer classics. The third act really kills any of the mystery the movie had going for it. Keeping us guessing was really a lot of the fun of the movie in the beginning. Explaining everything expositionally was just kind of condescending and lazy. I understand why they did it though. It adds to the childlike whimsy of this horror, kind of like a storybook. But the movie didn't need it and ultimately made the finale much less scary and tense. Though all in all, Blair Underwood's incredible performance keeps this thing grounded, especially once we realize what Harker's connection is to all the madness, which pretty much gets hinted at from the beginning. We could either look at this as a metatextual script quality or just some cheesy tongue-in-cheek script writing. I'm not going to go too much more in depth on the ending's exposition. Just go see this movie for yourself and go support the movie theaters. But I do wish if they were going to throw in this supernatural or paranormal angle that they would have just gone for it. Are you trying to be a police procedural or are you trying to be a supernatural horror movie? If you're going to do one, pick one, or pick both and do them well. But do something all the way. It should have and could have been weirder. Why wasn't it weirder? It was already pretty freaking creepy. It's frustrating as a viewer because I can see how much better this could have been. I want things to be weirder and creepier. This movie didn't give me any nightmares. I wish it had. Freddy Got Fingered, weirdly, is scarier and did kind of give me some unsettling nightmares.
Now I'll talk about some ideas that were interesting in Longlegs. Maika Monroe's performance was great. I was confused by her characterization at first, but it made sense over time. The reveal that she has essentially been living with the killer her entire life could have been scarier, though they did implement some beautiful shots of her mother taking the stairs into the basement where Longlegs constructed his demonic dolls, Light, to the underworld. There's another similar scene where Harker is framed on a payphone at the office, where Light is descending down a staircase with her in the frame. Lots of descent into madness, and these visual cues were nice, but something that really stood out to me, her insomnia and draw to eating cereal in the middle of the night. Cereal has an immediately childlike quality to it. Milk is for babies and cereal is processed sugar. Cheerios are a little healthier, but you get the point. It also takes no skill to make. This gives the impression that Harker is intended as a neurodivergent savant, that basically she grew up a socially awkward child and then woman due to the trauma of encountering and living in connection to Longlegs. She never grew up or learned real social cues, which is why it's funny watching her interact with a well-adjusted child in the beginning. She was emotionally and mentally stunted because her mom wanted to keep her alive, but did so while entrapped by a serial murderer who could harness the magic of the devil. Harker may also be a connection to Dracula, which would potentially make her mother something of a Renfield type.
There's a lot of good on display here by Oz Perkins, and truly, Monroe and Underwood deserve real recognition for carrying such a weak script. Blair Underwood also gets some unintentionally, but possibly intentional, funny framing in the shots within his FBI office, with Bill Clinton just slightly above him in some of these shots. Now, I believe Oz Perkins is a pretty smart director, someone who does not like to waste time. So while this could be a lazy technique to sort of hold the audience's hand like, hey, just remember we're in the 90s, why were there so many shots of Bill Clinton's headshot in these frames? Was this maybe a statement on how the 90s and the Nixon era were more connected or entangled or something like that? Maybe he was just tying in a little red herring in there to further mess with the viewer. I don't know, it probably isn't that deep. Blair Underwood also gets some similar framing with the Longlegs interview footage, which is definitely one of the more harrowing and effective uses of Cage in the movie. All in all, I'm glad movies like Longlegs exist, and I hope they continue to succeed because that means we'll get more movies like this and hopefully ones that are just a little bit better. I think we're all searching in 2024 for the next big thing because 2023 was truly a hype year for movies. But with horror, that bar is always looking to be reset and set even higher. Expectations can be the death of film, and I can't help but see the power that horror movies have in drawing audiences as the superhero and other movie fads wear off. Oz Perkins and co. really put a lot of love into this movie, and it is worth your time. By the time the credits rolled, I didn't know how much time had passed, and that's a good thing. And I also really dug the movie's eerie Lou Reed / glam rock coded charm of the titular killer. The twist didn't really work for me, but something I feel about movies, especially horror, is that a great idea or ideas can take a movie a lot farther than perfect execution, and there really are some cool ideas on display with Longlegs. Just wish they were a little bit more organized. What did you think of Longlegs? Was it overhyped or did it meet your expectations? What movies would you recommend that are similar to it? Leave all the comments below, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. Every little bit counts, and I appreciate so much from the bottom of my heart you watching this video and supporting our channel. So until next time, and I know you all have birthdays coming up, let's celebrate all those birthday boys and birthday girls out there. Don't talk to strangers, and remember, a picture is worth 1,000